This is Lisset, your host, speaking here. I here have Max.
I'm Max Calandrillo. I'm with the Fighting Yo. I'm so glad to represent, and we have the one, the only Quentin QG Gaskins here. How are you, champ? We're so glad to have you on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me. I feel good down here. Down here in Miami. I'm here for the holidays. We got the fight Saturday, so I'm looking forward to seeing some exciting fights this weekend.
Before anything, we also have a special guest with us as well.
This is legendary LA. We just call him LA, but he is a legend, and he is the official mascot for the BKFC.
That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. Hopefully get some royalties from that.
Yeah, absolutely. He eats well every time, too, so he can't complain. He can't complain.
So let me ask you this. How did this all begin for you? How did you get into fighting? Yeah. What's the origin of this?
Well, originally, I started boxing young, man. I'm like 15, 20 years into mixed martial arts. I started boxing at the age of 11, 12 years old, and I originally got into it. Where are you going, LA? Sit down. He likes you. He likes you.
Yeah, I'm glad. About that.
I originally got into it young, and it was really just off of like not having an older brother, not having nobody to really defend me, and it was like, yo, I just didn't want to be scared of situations, because there was a few altercations that I got into young. I just didn't want to be afraid anymore. I was like, I want to learn how to defend myself, and that's originally how I got into boxing. I fell in love with it, and who would have known it turned into a career from me training and living in my purpose, being a personal trainer, a boxing coach, plus a professional athlete.
So you're a personal trainer as well with the boxing. Do you feel that you helping other people get into shape and get into better fitness has helped you as well?
Probably I started coaching like a little too early in my life, like to the point where I should have been getting coached, but I still was being coached. I wasn't not being coached while I was coaching. I was just teaching classes, getting free memberships. I pretty much got funding from the state, which allowed me to work with troubled youth, which is really the best athletes you can get, because these kids are coming from broken homes. So plus musicians, they are great musicians because these kids are from the street. So the music and the MMA boxing, it was a great program that I had, because now the state's funding it and they're paying for these kids who can't afford to train with me. So now I get to actually train the kids that normally wouldn't be allowed to, because before that I was getting a lot of kids that come from great homes, and they like it, but not like enough to
they don't have that hunger
to compete. It's different to compete.
You're a role model.
I try to live in my gift. That's what like I said with my song, I am a child of God. Watch me walk in my faith. So I love to.
That's your testimony.
Absolutely.
In the music video.
Absolutely.
So you bring up music a few times. Did you say that is your outlet when you're not fighting?
Yeah, that's what gave me the motivation to come back to it, because I was injured in 2017. My first major injury in 2017.
What was that?
I was in a car accident with my mother.
Oh, man.
My mother was forced to retire. She had 2 surgeries, and she's good. She's doing good. She's still dealing with pain and going back and forth to the doctors now, but she's for the most part okay. She's walking and everything like that. She's in her early 60s, so. We both was in a car accident. I had to get surgery on my shoulder. I didn't get it for like a year until after, because I had a fight coming up like 2 months at the time of the accident. I tried to do everything I could to fight. We pulled out the week of the fight. Which the promoter, I was telling him, like, man, I don't think he didn't care. He didn't want me. They didn't want to not sell the show. So anyways, I had to pull out of the fight, and then I ended up fighting like 6 months later on a 1 week's notice. All my pro MMA fights were like 1 week, 2 days, 1 day, like very short. No, it was 2 days notice, and I weighed in the same day of the fight.
Wow.
And rehydrated and fought like 5-6 hours later, which should have been illegal. I shouldn't have did it.
You're just driven.
I shouldn't have did it. So
let's just say this guy's not going to be ducking anyone anytime soon. Let's just say that
for
much,
sure.
Right?
He's a beast.
For sure. So that fight, and that was a pro kickboxing match. I didn't. That was my first ever pro kick. I was training for an MMA fight. The guy got injured, which was a jiu-jitsu guy, Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. So I'm working my ground game. He got injured. They pulled the fight away from me. I got the call for the kickboxing fight. I'm like, whatever, I'll take it. And Louis Ashkar, he's one of the like biggest kickboxers from upstate New York. If anybody knows Louis Ashkar, Amir Abidal, he's the guy. Amir is the one that threw the fights. Actually, he's the one that's really helped link the Rida the big boxing promoters.
Okay.
How do you say their name? Rida Sadat, in the Dubai, them guys.
Oh, with Turkey Al Sheikh and all those guys.
Yeah. So he's the one that kind of linked that. He was in Mike Tyson's corner for the Jake Paul fight.
Riyadh is what you were trying to say.
Yeah. Him. So it was Amir Abidallah's promotion, which is one of the main guys from where I'm from. And now to see him, on Netflix with Mike Tyson and everything like that, it's beautiful to see how far he's came with everything that he's doing. So I fought on his card. It should have been illegal, Amir. It should have been illegal. I should have not fought the same day that I weighed in. But I did. We went all 4 rounds. I ended up losing the decision. But to me, that showed me what I'm made of. So, I don't think there's too many people that could say that they took a fight on 2 days' notice.
Literally.
And weighed in the same day and fought.
Inspired to start boxing?
To compete?
Yeah, to compete.
Honestly,
is there somebody like
I would say Kevin Davis, KK, which I've been trying to get a hold of this guy. I don't know where. Kevin Davis. He is a pro fighter. He actually has a book, based on my hometown. It's called Zebra Town. It's about black and white interracial couples in his life, but. Long story short, he's the one that got me involved in boxing, and I'm appreciative of him. But fighters-wise, Ryan Ciatoli, John Jones.
Okay,
John Jones is a good shot.
John Jones, I saw you.
These guys,
I saw you.
are inspirations from where I'm, upstate New York, where I'm originally from. So, to see John Jones at that time go from this kind of good wrestler into being who he was, the best fighter in the world, was just inspiring to see, and it just made me really feel like anything is possible seeing him firsthand. So shout out to John Jones, man.
Shout out to John Jones.
So I wanted to bring up your last fight, right? Your first fight in the BKFC. Can you tell us the story of that fight, how it went down, the build up? Just break it down for us.
Yeah. That was my first BKFC fight. I've been signed with Shift MMA. I'm not signed with them anymore as a management group, but nothing but love to them guys. And they have Dave Mundell, Jared Warren, who's defending his title tomorrow, Saturday, BKFC. What is it, 70? Is this BKF 70?
I think so.
BKF 70.
BKFC 70, yeah.
And they're a great gym, so they're the ones that got me the fight. And Zach Pinnell, I was an underdog, which I don't see how I was an underdog, but they don't know much about me, I guess. And Zach Pinnell was 1-0 in the BKFC, so he comes from Street Beasts, and for real true martial artists who know, like, Street Beasts is cool. They have millions of views on YouTube, and I guess he was like a champion on Street Beasts,
but top guys on there.
But that's not real. That's not. I'm sorry, guys, but all you Street Beast guys, if there's anybody from Street Beast that takes offense to this and wants to sign up and fight me, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. I'm taking all call outs. But you better have a real gym, a real coach, and
some random guy in Street Beast calling you out.
Real sparring partners. Okay, I come from true martial arts background, like no garage trained only, I don't pay for memberships type of mentality. Pay for your memberships, guys. All right.
So you believe that these pro fighters, they take out anyone in street fights, basically?
What do you mean?
Just in general, like true fighting is a level above just fighting on the street.
And yeah, completely. You gotta understand that the level of, it's who's training you and who they've trained and what they know. Like, these guys, you can't just learn by hitting the heavy bag and stuff like that. You got to have a real coach who actually has fought, that knows the business, that knows how to hold pads, all these different levels. Like, and then you got to have sparring partners that are better than you, and you need guys that aren't as good as you. You need both. You can't just be beating everybody up at the gym and then expect to be growing as a fighter. Like, that's the thing about a lot of these guys who, the BKFC is sort of new, you know. So a lot of these guys, you know, they're not really ready for this level of competition. You know, there's a lot of guys from the UFC and old boxers that's coming over, and it's making it, you know, a little more well-rounded. Because when I first seen the BKFC, I just thought these are a bunch of backyard fighters, you know.
Yeah.
But then what really caught my eyes was when Fames fought Chad Mendez in Miami on the first card, and just the people that actually came to the fights, everything. You know, shout out to my guy Menace. He just fought on the UFC Tampa card. What's Mike Menace? Menace. You know who Michael Johnson. That's it, Michael Johnson. I'm sorry, I forgot your last name, but Michael Johnson. He trained with my boy Desmond Green, so I seen him, all these guys down at the fights, and it was like, yo, it's legitimized. Like, it got, once the UFC guys came over, it was like, okay, there's a talent level of guys, and there's enough to this sport to where it's pulling in the right competition. So once I seen that, I'm like, you know what? I think I might be willing to do this. And the more I interviewed guys, the more that I learned that, hey, you know, it's actually neurologically safer than boxing and MMA. On your brain, bare knuckle is neurologically long term.
What do you say about the transition between the MMA and
I think bare knuckle's safer than all of them, and that's.
Why is it safer?
It's safer for one because, okay, with boxing, you have hand wraps and you have gloves on, and you can punch as hard as you want, for as long as you want. With MMA, you have kicks, you have elbows, you have knees, you can slam. So all those strikes are harder than a fist. Now, when these guys are punching you, you got to be very careful on how you punch and where you punch, because if you hit somebody in the side of their head, on the hard part of their head, you're going to break your hand. And so you have to be very strategical. It's knife fighting. Shout out to my guy Ryan Reber for that explanation. He explains it like knife fighting. You have to focus on the soft spots of the body. I mean, you can catch an elbow. You can catch an elbow, and that's the thing where you got to be careful, because you throw. I remember the Spain card. I think it was the main event or the co-main event. The guy got dropped with a body shot and was losing, and then he blocked the guy's body shot after that, broke his hand, and ended up winning the fight. So there is strategy into using different parts of your body to hurt someone's hands. So there's things that you can do to disrupt the person's ability to be able to strike.
In the BKFC, AJ Rodriguez, he hurt his finger. He hurt himself really hard.
Which card was that?
AJ Rodriguez,
the
BKFC 66.
Miami?
Yes.
Okay.
Here, in September, he hurt himself really bad.
And they stopped the fight.
No, he continued. He won the fight.
He
just broke his finger, but he just kept on fighting.
Was it known to everybody when it happened, or nobody?
No,
knows?
I think they did know, but he just kept on fighting. He was just like, I'm gonna do this to the end, and he did.
Dope. I love that.
But he didn't feel it like he was like, I'm gonna, you know.
That's probably adrenaline though.
There was adrenaline. He had an adrenaline rush.
The adrenaline will push you
Yeah,
through.
you remember AJ?
You still know.
Of course,
though. You still know. Like, you know, I finished my guy in one round last fight, and me walking, you can see it in the video. I'm walking back to my corner like this, and I'm like, you know,
I'm feeling this a little bit.
Like my hands are so delicate, like to the point where I don't. That's the scariest part about the BKFC.
And then the blood pressure in your hands.
Yeah, you could be winning a fight and then you hit the guy wrong and you lose.
Yeah, you lose confidence in your ability to strike, and you don't want to keep hitting and hurting yourself because all you're thinking about is that pain. So, I think the hand injuries and obviously the cuts are the worst part of the BKFC, and that's really the only neurologically brain damage down the line. Bare knuckle is safer than boxing and MMA. It's still new, so like, but when you really look at, because they do concussion tests for us, you know what I'm saying, and I feel like the numbers with the BKFC is definitely much lower than other sports for sure.
Do you think they added any new rules to BKFC and fighting this year?
What do you mean?
You think it's just
like for protocol, like for protection?
Yeah, for protection.
You know, I don't think.
No.
I think the one-handed clinch is really nice. I like it. I think the fingers in the eyes is something that is got to be, you know, monitored a little bit better when reaching. But I when I reach like this. I don't reach like this. Yeah, when I reach, I'm.
So it's a way that you hold your hand.
I like to have an open hand and I like to not keep my fist because you're just burning energy with your fist clamped all the time. If your hands you're burning energy. So the more that you're free and your flow and your rhythm and your hands are open, and then as soon as you're about to hit, you close it and then relax it again. You just have to really practice that. You know what I'm saying? And it really helps with your flow and.
It's almost like a dance.
It is.
It's like a dance.
It is a dance.
You're fighting
I think this
a
would be a
dance.
perfect transition into the little dance that you got building.
Yeah,
on.
the QG flow.
The QG flow. He invented the QG flow.
Absolutely.
Everybody, he invented it.
What's the story of that?
Yeah, let's tell the
I've
story
been,
about the QG
I've been doing
flow.
the QG flow since a kid. I just recently named it the QG flow because I just started filming it and putting it on social media, and so many people hit me up like, yo, bro, like, that's crazy what you're doing. Like, there's this one video where I'm doing it next to a pool, and I'm doing footwork drills. I'm switching stances. I'm throwing kicks and punches while twirling a jump rope. You know, so whenever y'all put this out and clip this, make sure y'all show the video of it, because it's really something that you see people doing the jump rope where they're twirling it, but you've never seen nobody shadow box and do footwork drills. And so I've been doing this since a little kid. I never knew nobody else did it. I just used to always do it. And once I started to realize that, I'm like, oh, this is mine. This is the QG flow. This is my flow. So all you fighters out there, if you implement it, it really helps with your ability to split the hands. Okay, you need to have both hands working separately. You can't focus on.
Can you show like a demonstration to us?
Well, the thing is when you're doing the jump rope, okay, you're shadow boxing. Every time you throw the punch though, you're pulling to the right. You can't really punch if you're pulling this way because the rope is gonna get tangled. So once you flow, you flow like this. Oh, I'm messing my glasses up. You flow, and then you can add different punches. You're adding footwork in, head movement, and once you let go of the rope and put it down to make it more fighting realistic, what it is your right hand is your parry. So as you're using your jab, you're using your hooks, and they're striking, bam, bam, parry block. So you're implementing a drill that really helps you. It's basically like this, like it's practicing this, right? Because this is hard to do. So that's what you're practicing. That
is so cool.
They're gonna make an Olympics for that soon. QG flow the best. Right?
QG flow, baby.
I wanted to talk about that. You put that in your music video. You came out with a music video.
Yes. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the studio, just freestyle. I just freestyle. I heard that quote, I am a child of God. Watch me walk in my faith. I heard it in church like 2 weeks prior to that.
That is awesome.
And I just wrote it in my notes. And I went to the studio and I just kept repeating the same hook. I wanted to make a song that my mother could appreciate. Yeah. And
to the youth too.
Exactly.
To we want to make an example to the youth.
Absolutely. And I had no idea of how I was gonna approach it, but as I approached it, I shot the video at my job.
I hear you have a fight coming up on January 25th with John Garcia. Mm-hmm. So tell us about it.
Yeah, I don't know much about John. I seen some highlights of his last fight. You know, he looked pretty decent. The guy he fought wasn't all that great. He gassed out, so he kind of was able to just finish him. I think the second or third round. I don't remember. But he's a tough guy. You know, I respect all my opponents. Anybody who's training, getting in there, you know, I'm not sleeping on nobody. But I definitely feel like I'm you know, on a different level than a lot of these guys. I just gotta prove it and keep showing it, and my time will come. You know, I definitely give myself to the end of this year to really be competing for some titles.
So what should the fans expect from you on January 25th?
You know, I'm in the best shape of my life right now. Being that I'm a personal trainer, I'm in the gym, training other people. I'm a workout partner. I'm in the best shape of my life now because of my job, and I'm just grateful to be living in my gift and walking in my faith.
So I've been seeing certain fighters making little digs at you, commenting on your stuff. Kasim Rufin, El Gallo. What's going on here? Is there something going on that we don't know about?
I mean, listen, I won my last fight, and mind you, I don't start nothing. I haven't spoke to these guys before this. I didn't even know who they were. Well, I knew El Gallo because he fought for the BKFC. I was friends with the other kid on Facebook and Instagram, Kasim Ruffin. Okay. But these guys, what it is my post-fight interview with the Bare Knuckle TV. I should have worded it a little different. Now that I look at it, he commented on the Bare Knuckle TV thing, post-fight interview that I had with them. I basically told them that I feel as though in order to do well in the BKFC, I feel like you need to have a background in MMA and boxing. Now, what I should have said is in order to compete with the highest level of guys in the BKFC, I feel as though that you need to have a background in boxing and MMA, and not just one. Because you can have a great boxing pedigree, come to bare knuckle, never been hit with a knuckle. The holes are very small, like MMA. So now you're getting hit with punches that you normally would block or avoid, and you're able to clinch with one hand. So there's a lot of boxers who aren't comfortable with clinching. As soon as someone clinches them, they're uncomfortable and they're trying to get away and they can't get away. So he commented on it and we had a back and forth. Me and El Gallo had a back and forth. Look, I had a back and forth with both of these guys. They both commented on something that I posted. And, we had a few back and forths. They're fighting each other, El Gallo and Kasim Ruffin, on Saturday on the BKFC card. They're fighting at 155, but I want the winner of that fight. At 45.
The winner of that fight.
At 45.
Kasim or Gallo, get ready.
So you think they took offense to what you said in the post-fight interview?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And El Gallo commented. And it was like, yo, that ain't true what he's saying. I'm from the streets. I'm 6-0. I'm coming from rap, and I'm 6-0. I'm like, bro, first of all, listen, chill out. You're not that good. You fought bums, okay? You fought bums, and then you lost to Kai. And all respect to Kai. He's the BKFC 145 champion, but he's mad mediocre too. Like, you guys really are not great strikers. You guys are good athletes that can fight a little bit, and I mean, Kai has a great wrestling background, so his stamina is great, and he's in and out quick. So I feel like I can beat Kai. I mean, I should feel like that. Everybody should feel like they can beat the next person. But at the end of the day, El Gallo, you fought some bums. You lost to Kai, who's mediocre, and he commented on the post basically saying. That's not true, and he lost, and this was before he lost. He commented before he lost, so he thought he was going to the roof, to the moon and back if he would have beat Kai, which he probably would have. I think he has the image and the look to really do well as champion in the BKFC.
Marketable.
Yeah, very marketable, very marketable. Yeah. And he was snapped back to reality a little bit after that loss. For sure. That's
what it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And he got injured and he used that as an excuse, whatever. All to you. Kasim, I don't know you, but I think I've been friends with him for a long time on Facebook from MMA world. I don't really remember where I met him. But I commented on the El Gallo and Kai fight. I said, the 145 division looks like it's mine for the taking. That is what I said. Okay. And then I was like, I said something that along the lines. Kasim commented on my post and said, "Oh, enjoy the fights, this and that." And I'm like, bro, like, you're not even like, don't like, you're not like that. Like, let's be real, you're not like that. And he was going back and forth with me a little bit, but listen, at the end of the day, I don't pick on nobody. I don't. But y'all coming for me, I gotta finish things. You guys want to say something to me? You guys want to fight? If you guys can make 45, because I can make 35. But if you guys can make 45, I'll definitely. Happen, right? I mean, I might even make it happen at 50. Just so you guys have no excuse on not fighting. All right, you're fighting at 55 this weekend.
55.
I'll fight you at 50 just so there's no excuses.
At 50, you hear that? Okay.
Now let's be honest. There's one of them that you want to fight a little more than the other.
Yes.
No, I
No?
don't.
Sure.
Yeah,
Really?
there's no
Completely neutral.
No, I honestly I
Who do you
don't.
think's better?
Who I haven't seen
we
Kasim.
don't want-
I haven't seen Kasim fight in bare knuckle. I've
This
only
guy
seen
Kasim
him
needs to
do.
prove himself.
He needs to prove himself. So Kasim,
I'm looking at them both
Yeah.
this weekend. You know, I'm locked in on that fight,
Yeah.
and I mean El Gallo. I would love to fight him in Miami because
that would be great. Gallo,
he sells
he's a
out.
good- yeah.
I'm in Tampa. I'm gonna be able to have people. It'll be a great fight.
Let's make it happen, Gallo.
And listen, I'm only for the fans who are out there that don't know who I am I'm 1-0 in the BKFC, but I'm a threat to all these top 10 guys.
Yeah.
Nobody in the top 10 wants to see me. Let's just be honest. To be honest.
Well, if El Gallo lost to someone that's mediocre and you feel that Rufin,
I mean, he was a champion though. He lost
Technically.
he lost to the
but off
champion.
of skill, right? And you feel Rufin's about that level. Is it crazy to say that you might be able to take both of them on the same night?
Would it be crazy to say that in bare knuckle?
What?
In bare
Maybe,
knuckle,
hey,
I don't know about that in bare knuckle. Now
Same
you know.
thing, I don't know about that.
I won my last fight first round and my hand was a little swollen from one round, so I ain't gonna take it that far. But I'll wash both of them just so y'all know. I watched both of them. But I'm trying to fight at least 8 times in 2025.
Oh,
You wanna-
wow. 8 times in a year. Is
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm trying to fight 8
Remarkable.
times.
What would you say to John Garcia?
If I seen him,
wanna
if
tell
I seen,
him? What do you wanna
you
tell
better
him
be
right now?
training, buddy. I rollerblade to work, and I train 10 plus people,
Yeah,
and work out for 3 to 4 hours every day.
yeah.
If you got a regular 9 to 5 job and you're just going to the gym like 2-3 hours a day, it's not enough, buddy. All right. Any of the fighters out there, if you don't live in the gym right now, if your dad isn't your trainer, and you're a trainer at your gym, and you have a free coach because he's your dad, you're not beating me. I'm telling you
last
that.
fight, these guys can't really handle your pace.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm taking guys. I'm drowning
Taking
them.
their souls in the ring.
I'm taking their souls. I'm inside the pocket. I don't even. The thing about it too, like when you watch the footage of my last BKFC fight, a lot of people are like, oh, he's hitting you there. I'm like, listen, how he's hitting me and where he's hitting me in the back of my head. He's hurting his head. It's not just about someone hitting you. It's about how they hit you, where they hit you, and the position that they're in hitting you. So high level IQ people understand, like I'm drowning these guys and I'm pressuring them into uncomfortable situations. But that's just the IQ from doing this 15, 20 years. You know,
That's where your experience comes into play. Even though you're 1-0, you're a seasoned vet. Even
absolutely.
with them.
I have over 100 amateur fights from boxing to MMA to kickboxing, and then
Completely seasoned.
I fought pro MMA, kickboxing.
Yeah.
Which my first pro fight kickboxing was on a 2-day notice, and bare knuckle and boxing. Yeah.
So would you say your discipline and your conditioning is what separates you from all these other guys around you?
At this point in my life, I would say yes. I wasn't always this disciplined, and I wasn't always in the gym as much as I am now. Although I was, but I wasn't.
Okay.
Now that I'm back to being in the gym and being a trainer, I live in the gym now. So it's easier for me to do everything that I need to do properly. You know, I'm even intermittent fasting throughout the day. I'm only drinking protein shakes.
God.
And
Got a strict diet.
yeah,
strict
but it's
diet?
easy to do when you're holding other people accountable.
Oh, okay.
To lose weight, to do this, to do that, you know, as a person. So it's easier for me, I feel like, because you know, and shout out to Crunch Fitness. I work at a Crunch, which not too many pro active athletes are trainers at Crunches. I'm an active pro fighter teaching boxing at a Crunch, which is really unheard of, to be honest. But shout out to Crunch for believing in me and helping me really expand my portfolio.
How important has self-belief been for you in your life and your career, since you bring up belief?
Yeah.
It's so
Walking in
important.
faith.
It's so I lost faith. I really lost faith in myself.
You did?
Absolutely. I think that's what is beautiful about where I'm at in my life now, because I had it, I lost it, I had it, I lost it, and now I got it back. And my connection, my connection spiritually, and I lost. So mind you, I lost I almost didn't fight in my last BKFC fight. My father passed away a week before the fight.
Wow.
And
that wasn't hard.
That was very difficult for me because, I'm the oldest. I only have a littler sister. He didn't have a wife, nothing. So like I had to take care of everything. So I almost canceled the fight because of it, and because I couldn't train for a week and a half prior to the fight because I'm in the hospital with my father, and so I lost him, and I told my mom I was going to cancel the fight. She talked me into taking the fight still, and I'm glad that I did because it really helped me. Just the focus of the fight, the weigh-ins, just everything. It took my mind off it. Absolutely, it did. It took my mind off of it to a point where, and then a lot of people back home in New York really tuned in because they knew what happened. And they knew what I was like, oh, you're fighting still? Oh, this is crazy.
So we were discussing previously that after your father passed, it kind of eliminated distractions for you in your last bout. Can you elaborate just a little bit more on that?
I wasn't able to train how I normally, and it was 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the fight. So I was going to pull, but my mother talked me into continuing to go through with the fight. I ended up doing it, and I'm just grateful that I did, to be honest, because, I'm not really like the type to, use anger or, I don't really need to be like, oh, I'm going to go into the fight mad because I lost my father and beat this guy up. Like, that's not even a real strategy to me. It's more about fighting smart and fighting how you train. But mind you, there's guys out there who train upset and mad, and that strategy works for them. So it just doesn't work for me. I just never been like that aggressive, bully, mad, angry type of fighter to go into a ring. It's real sport to me, and of course, I want to finish my guy, but I don't feel like fighting with emotion is like the smartest way of actually going out there and competing, for sure.
I feel it takes a lot of discipline as well, because it feels good to be mad and use that anger in your favor, but it's not actually the smart thing to do. The smarter thing is to put that anger to the side and still fight disciplined and controlled, and that's what you did, and that's a big reason why you got that win so impressively in your last bout.
Absolutely. Zach Pinnell, he was undefeated in the BKFC, 1-0, which, it's only one fight, but I was an underdog going into that fight. A lot of people didn't know me and my story or, much about me. So, of course, they're, going to make me the underdog, but I hope I'm the underdog going into every fight because I'm trying to make everybody who knows me some money. So just make sure that if you don't know me, get to know me, and make sure you bet on me next time you see me in there because I'm gonna make you some money, baby.
There's a lot of fighters who actually prefer being the underdog. They fight better when the odds are against them than when all the odds are in their favor.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, there's no harm in being the underdog. You're the one that
has
everything
quantity,
to gain,
it's a quality.
nothing to lose.
Yeah, and all that is like,
theatrics a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this guy didn't look him in the eyes. He's scared. Like, no, that's not even John Jones. Never looks people in the eyes. And it's more of a like, I'm not going to allow your emotional state of mind make my emotional state of mind distracted by how you're feeling. Like, I'm not going to look at you. Jose Aldo does it all the time. Okay. I do it all the time, and some people take it offensively though. Like, not as a fighter, like even speaking to people, sometimes I tend to not look at them, but I'm looking, but like from my peripheral a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not looking them dead in. So some people is like, look at me when you talk to me, you know what I mean? And with fighting it's kind of similar, but I don't believe in the whole. It's intimidation. Like stare into your soul.
First one that turns away loses the mental battle.
Like that's not true. That's not true. True martial artists, true athletes who actually been around the sport. No, that's not true.
So let me ask you this, right? We got a lot of big fights coming up in the sport. I want to ask you quickly, what do you think about one of the biggest fights we've had in recent years between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk this week? What's your thoughts on that?
Tyson Fury was winning that fight up until the 7th, 8th round-ish. Did you say he won, right? He won. It was a good fight. I definitely think this time Tyson is gonna win, and then they're gonna have to fight again. That's just how the game goes at this point. I don't think it's staged or anything like that, but I do think that's what's gonna happen. And don't put your money on that for me. Just put your money on me as a fighter. Don't take my don't take my advice as far as betting goes. But I do believe that Tyson Fury is going to win this fight by points, and
that's not the only fights we have this week as well. We've got BKFC as well. Mm-hmm. You mentioned some guys on that card as well. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about those guys?
I already spoke about. I want the winner out of El Gallo and Kasim Ruffin. And, I'll fight you guys at 150, 145, whatever weight. I don't want to go to 155 because it don't make sense.
Right now,
I'm 151 right now, but I'm in shape. If I was to, take a week or two off and, I'd probably get up to like 160, but still 155 is not. I have fought at 152, 154 boxing, but that was like because the guy at 140 pulled out, and I didn't have no opponents to fight besides this guy, and it's like, oh, whatever, So I have fought bigger guys, but they're the ones that called me out. So y'all got to come to my weight, and I'll wash both of them. My training partner, Jared Warren, shout out to him. He's defending his title. I haven't really been training with them guys over at Shift like that because I'm like an hour and some change away from them now. But I was managed by Rick and Shift MMA for my first BKFC fight and my first boxing match out in St. Pete. So I'm really looking forward to him defending his title. He's fighting against Mike Richmond, who has been passed around the gym. Dave Mundell already beat him. But not to put anything against Mike. Mike Richmond is a great fighter. I love that. Him coming from the UFC over. He's been doing great in the sport, but I definitely think Jared is going to be way too much for Mike to handle, just size wise and. It's just gonna be too much for him. Besides that, what other fights we got on that card? We got Ferreira, but she got introduced at the last fight when Ryan Reber fought Blas and Conor McGregor was there. They brought her into the ring. I'm like, why did they even bring her into the ring?
I don't know why they would bring a woman to the ring, but
it's because they were promoting the fight.
They're promoting the women.
And Ferreira. Hasn't had that many fights. As of lately, she's beat everybody, and she needs to fight another female that's like her, because she's washing all these. She said it herself. She said, "You're a mom."
She's a beast.
She's one fight away from fighting El Gallo at this point.
Right? Basically, she might as well fight one of the guys at this point, because I don't see no females beating her. And I say that respectfully. Shout out to Ferreira, and I'm saying her name right, Ferreira. Ferreira. She's good people. I've met her a couple times.
I can't wait to meet you, Ferreira.
How big do you think it has been for the sport with Conor McGregor getting involved?
Yeah.
Oh, it just brought so many more eyes to the promotion. It's brought more of legitimacy. I've been around BKFC for the last 2-3 years, and a lot of people was like, "Bro, what are you doing?" Like that's not even like. And then they're like, "Oh, it's." I watched the fight, so it was a good card. It got better every time. And now that Conor McGregor's involved, he got DAZN involved. They did international cards over in Spain and Marbella, Spain, at the Bull Fighting Arena. Dave Mundell defending his title. It's grown tremendously to the point where this is its own sport. It's not. You can't be like, oh, UFC or BKFC. No, they're two different things. Correct. Same thing with boxing. It's in its own lane. I kind of compare it to, which is kind of a good and bad comparison, but the Big Three, Ice Cube's Big Three, it's like the NBA. It's the NBA after the NBA. Because in the BKFC, it's a lot of guys who come from the UFC and boxing, and to kind of reunite their careers. You know what I'm saying? But there's gonna be guys that come over to it that aren't washed or lost 5 fights in the UFC and then came over. You know what I'm saying?
It keeps getting bigger. People are just gonna skip going to boxing, UFC, and just go straight there.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is going to breed fighters like that, and that's gonna be a scary thing. That's when, because right now there's a loophole in the BKFC. As much as I love the BKFC, the top 10 guys are not top 10
material.
Yeah, it's just because there's not that many people fighting in the BKFC.
Correct.
And I say that respectfully to everybody in the top 10.
Yeah.
You're there for a reason. You fought, you won, but
Yeah.
like, let's be honest, it's so new that it's kind of like when Ronda Rousey was reigning champion for so long. She was only the champion for so long because there was nobody for her to fight.
Nothing. Yeah.
Misha Tate, she fought Misha Tate like 3 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there was nobody else for her to fight.
Yeah.
So shout out to the BKFC for growing as fast as they have. Conor McGregor has definitely made it more legitimate, and I think people are paying more attention to it because they're like, what is this? It's crazy, but it's entertaining, and it's
very entertaining.
It's his own. It's in his own lane. So
Because you'll always see people say who'd win in the fight between me or you, right? But then someone will say, how about if you guys fought bare knuckle, who would win?
Right.
Now you got the bare knuckle fights to
Yeah,
watch.
now-
Right. Now, if because I heard negotiations with Crawford and Conor McGregor,
Yeah.
and if
Crawford.
they did bare knuckle,
Crawford, I got it. Crawford.
but still though, that's
That would
like
be massive.
that's almost like
That would be.
And that'd be more
amazing.
fair. That'd be like
That
a good
would be-
balance.
Yeah,
Because if
it
it's in
would.
boxing, Crawford's winning.
Yeah.
If it's in UFC,
Connor's
Connor's winning.
winning.
So if you have in
Exactly.
bare knuckle, then you have kind of a middle ground.
exactly, and that's where it's
In the
its
ground.
own lane. It's something you can't get that same result or mindset of a fight if they did boxing or if they did MMA. It's that middle ground.
So Conor McGregor's been really big and great for the sport, but I want to know more about the people behind the sport. CEO David Feldman, he has a tremendous story. He's been great for the sport. How's he been as the boss? Tell us more about David Feldman.
I haven't really met David besides the time that I've met him on a few occasions, but it's been like so brief. But the fact that they paid me bonus money for knockout of the night, and shout out to my guy Russ for getting me the chain, the BKFC chain, and they really looked out for me for my last fight, and Dave, he just loves combat sports. Like, he's really from it, you know what I'm saying? And it's beautiful to see somebody that's really from it get involved and be an owner and to grow a company, because it definitely did not look like bare knuckle was going to be as popular as what it is now, you know what I mean? And who would have known that bare knuckle could almost actually compete with boxing or the UFC, like, to see it grow is beautiful. To see Dave Feldman and to get a partner like Conor McGregor to come in, and Mike Perry, let's not forget about Mike Perry. Like, I feel like,
How can we forget
you know,
about
shout,
Mike Perry, right?
shout out to Mike Perry. He invited me to train with him and his guys a couple months ago out in Orlando. Him and Jay Will and Philly Fresh and all them guys, and I was able to flow with these top level guys. And Mike is really who helped the BKFC grow to where it is. Conor came in after that. Let's just all be clear about that. A lot of people was giving Conor all the credit, and Conor hasn't even fought for the BKFC, which is kind of crazy. But Conor has that
name
level.
value.
Yeah, he has that. The success that he had in UFC kind of overshadows that. So, but Mike is 6-0 in the BKFC. Yes, he got knocked out TKO by Jake Paul. But
That was regular boxing.
yeah, exactly. It was boxing with gloves.
You could tell he wanted to do more, but he was uncomfortable because he could only punch.
And that's the difference. And I keep trying to tell guys, like, oh, I can box good. Yeah, you can box good, but can you get punched by a knuckle? The holes are small. Like, you have to have boxing and MMA in order to really understand the holes, the placement. And, Mike went out there, he fought, made lots of money. Everybody and their mama watched that fight. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Like, Mike Perry could have, never came back to the BKFC and never would have got the opportunity to fight Jake Paul. So that's the blessing in that. So shout out to Mike Perry for really helping the BKFC.
I also saw Mike Perry at Dirty Boxing. I thought he was amazing.
Yeah.
And how he had all the boxers there, and how he integrated the Dirty Boxing. It's like a new thing.
Absolutely.
A new boxing thing.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I'd like, seeing that too made me really think like, I might actually want to do this for Mike, because my striking arsenal with Supermans and spinning back fists and everything is so elite. I can't use that in bare knuckle. So I kind of want to fight for Mike. So Mike Perry, whenever you see this,
we're gonna give you a shout
I
out.
want to fight for your fight for your company. I love what you have been doing, what you've done for the BKFC. I'm not in no contract with the BKFC to where I can't fight outside of it or anything like that. So, I definitely would like to compete on one of your cards. So, I seen you guys went to the
we were at Dirty Boxing,
event.
me and Bryan, and we had a lot of fun there.
I love the ambiance of it.
It
Like
great.
I love that.
Great.
I love that it was dark, like a
Uh-huh.
nightclub.
Yeah, it felt like a nightclub.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Looking at it, and then it was like an old school boxing gym kind of look to it.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I like to see that. And
You do great because it fits your arsenal so well.
yeah, it's all strike, and then you can strike when they're on the ground. You can finish the fight. I like that rule setting. It would be cool to see if BKFC kind of expanded on their rule setting a little bit. I mean, I seen they do the kickboxing bare knuckle, which is kind of crazy to me. As much as I don't know. If I do MMA, I just feel like at least have gloves on to protect my hand, because you got every other weapon. You might as well just put gloves on if you're doing MMA. I don't think I would ever really do bare knuckle MMA, but I would do the dirty boxing. I might do kickboxing, bare knuckle, but either way, I've done everything.
Boxing. Would you do phone booth boxing?
I just think that's kind of takes away from the real art of fighting.
That's all brain damage. All CT.
Yeah, I don't like that, or the slap.
Power slap.
I want to do the power slap. Either it's just like I'm not gonna stand there and let you slap me.
Yeah.
But shout out to all the guys who do that. Shout out to my boy Julian Lane for actually doing the power slap. He's got a main event coming up February 1st for the BKFC also. So
Shout out.
yeah, Julian Lane, he's done everything. Like he's done UFC, power slap, BKFC, boxing. He's done everything. Yeah. Julian is that's that guy, man. Shout out to you.
We bring up all these guys helping the sport. We can't leave out Nelson Lopez.
Yeah, I love
Nelson Lopez.
you know,
Who is Nelson Lopez?
Nelson, he has the BKFC prospects. He's a partner with the BKFC, and Nelson, I've worked with Nelson as far as on the road, like Russ, and I've been at a lot of events with these guys, and seeing Nelson's growth. I commented on something like 2 months ago on something that he posted, because Nelson just started really posting. He really wasn't posting that much. He wasn't having a camera crew, and really walking you through. And he started to do it recently a lot more. And I commented on one of his posts like, yo, I love what you're doing. Keep it going. Show more. And I know that he was on the verge of already doing more, but I think him seeing comments like that really made him really invest a little bit more into it, because like he has something, and then he already has relationships with the fighters, and he's already plugged in. So why not do podcasts and interviews and really push the brand farther than what it could be? So shout out to Nelson and the BKFC prospects. I got a bunch of I'm training fighters. I'm a personal trainer. I got like 10 to 15 guys who are looking for fights right now, and they're going to be doing boxing, MMA. I would love to get some of my guys that I'm training on the BKFC prospects, and I would even love to, because they have the amateur and the pro fights on there. I would love to
shout out some names.
I would love to fight on a prospect series card, just because some guys that I train as amateurs could fight on the same card as me. That would be kind of cool for me to fight on the same card, because they're beginners for the most part. Some of them got 1 or 2 fights. For them to actually be on the same card as me, that would inspire them on a whole nother level too. So I think that'll be cool. So shout out to BKFC prospects, Nelson Lopez Jr. and the BKFC.
How would your mental be if your guys are fighting before you? Do you think it would motivate you more? Do you think it would kind of distract you?
I've done it already. Back in New York. Well, I would have to have my coach there to corner them.
Okay.
Because I can't. I might be able to corner them if they're like the first or second or third fight.
You need to be in your zone.
Not just that. I gotta wrap my hands. I gotta warm up. I can't. If there's a guy that I train that's fighting the fight before me, I couldn't corner him, because I gotta be getting ready to go out. And you never know how the fight's gonna end. Knockout, decision. So there's no like, okay, I'm ready at this perfect time. No, you're ready whenever the fights get to you.
Now, you clearly have a passion for helping other fighters. Do you see this being a route you take once your career's done?
Absolutely. I'm glad that I did it while my career existed, because it gave me more I used to think, or people used to tell me like, bro, you're too young to be coaching, and I definitely was, because what it did was hindered me from growing as much as I could have grown. But coaching helped me become a better fighter. Like seeing the punches, talking to people, explaining it to them, it makes me a better fighter. So I think every fighter out there should coach and be coached.
So.
And it keeps you in the life more as well. You know, you don't
It
take
does.
long breaks from the sport because you're still coaching.
Exactly.
In between fights. Yeah.
And not only that, it keeps you accountable of what you're teaching, to where it's kind of like it's like if we all was in college and we had a math test coming up, and I'm like not really, getting the math, and you two both no, you guys can take the test, and if you guys can teach me how to pass this test, you're gonna pass the test.
Exactly.
Same thing if I'm teaching other guys, it just helps you learn the information and
reaffirms it, right?
Yes, absolutely. So not just learning something, but teaching something just really lets you know, like, I understand this.
Yeah, of course. And it's just great to see the fighters progress as well. I bet you've seen some crazy times where you started with someone, they barely knew what they were doing, they became a really solid fighter.
Oh yeah. I took a kid. I'm not even gonna mention his name because we kind of had a falling out, but shout out to you. You know who you are if you see this. I took a kid from back in New York. His little brother was 11 when he started with me. He was like 14. And he could beat his brother, but like a year later, his brother was just beating him up, and it made the older brother want to come train with me. Nice. So, and mind you, he was like 200 plus pounds, like a little bit before he was the most unathletic kid, and everything that comes.
So if you didn't know who you were now you definitely know who you are if you're watching.
Yeah, he knows who he is. He knows who he is. He's one of the only pro fighters to come out of upstate New York from where I'm from. I think there's two fighters for sure. I would say three, but two fighters for sure that I trained from doing no sports.
Okay.
And doing Future Legends. So Future Legends was that. It was me basically saying, listen, you are going to be a legend in the future if you're able to. So that's where Future Legends came. But he wasn't an athlete at all. Overweight. This kid ended up coming in and went on like I think he went on like a 8 to 9 fight win streak. Kickboxing, did MMA, and then he ended up going pro. And he fights professionally now too. So it's great to see the progress. Absolutely, to see that to it just reaffirms my gift, who I am, what I'm able to do, and to stay in it, because I left coaching for a long time, and the fact that I'm back into it, I'm grateful to be back in my gift, man.
Do you feel like it's much different coaching someone in boxing than bare knuckle? I'd imagine it would be, because there's so much more elements to bare knuckle boxing.
Not really. Not really. I mean, obviously, keep the glove off. Just wrap your hands. Let's punch the glove. Let's punch the pads without him. But even guys who just want to do boxing, I like to do that too, because it's like, you need to know how to actually hold your fists.
Yeah.
If a altercation did happen in the street, so training them both is important. So I don't really see no difference. And then you can switch the gloves from boxing to MMA. Yeah. So it's hard to train you can't train bare knuckle. You can't. You can't spar. You have to have MMA gloves on, or like the weightlift. You have to have something.
Depending how you put it, it cuts your circulation, and you have to like wrap it in a certain way.
Well, I wouldn't recommend sparring with wraps. Nobody does that. You have to have gloves on, because you can't cut each other in training. So you can't really train bare knuckle.
How do you train your knuckles in general, though, to make them more durable?
How do you train?
Honestly, I don't do anything stupid. There's a lot of people that do. Oh man, I gotta
punch the punch the wall or something.
Like, I don't really believe in that. Like, don't get me wrong. There's strategies like with the wood and the cushion, and like just punching the cushioned wood. Like, I think that can definitely help make your hands a little
neurological, maybe, as well.
Yeah, you do have to beat your hand. Same thing with like your shins. Like for kickboxing, you have to beat your legs up to the point where the nerve damage kind of goes away. So when you kick, you don't feel it. It's hard to do, but after years of kick in and the calcium build up in your legs, you start to not feel anything. But with the hands, I think it's more ice and heat therapy and just raw farm boy type training. Like you're not out there punching walls. Like, hey, I'm making my fist stronger. That ain't real. That ain't real.
Street fight, punch a random civilian on the street, right?
Yeah. You're not punching poles and stuff like that. So chill out, y'all. Chill out.
So for the event this week, who do you want to shout out? Who do you know that's fighting on it? It's a little recap.
Shout out to Jared Warren. You know, that's
Warren?
one of my good friends. You know, we was at the Mike Perry versus Jake Paul fight together. They had a suite up at the arena, and it was good. You know, good food, just good vibes. I love them guys, and I think Jared. He's like 41, 42. You know, still feeling, looking young. Like this sport. BKFC, like you can't count these 40-year-olds out, man.
Power's the last thing to go, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's beautiful to see. So, I'm really looking forward to seeing him fight, and I want the winner of the El Gallo and Ruffin. You know?
That's what it's about. And your fight coming up January 25th. Just a little breakdown for the people. Where is it going to be? Who's it against?
Yeah.
John Garcia. You better be training, buddy. All right, you better be training. LA.
Shout out to John Garcia. He's coming for you.
Yeah,
so you better strain up.
Yeah, you better be training
train.
full time, buddy.
Yeah.
We were supposed to fight.
Yeah.
We were supposed to.
He wants to fight John Garcia at this point.
Yeah.
We were supposed to fight, but then Milton happened. The hurricane, and we had it. Just go ahead, LA. Go ahead. Go ahead. We don't want you over here anymore, man. And we were supposed to fight already, but the hurricane affected him and his house and his car and everything like that, so he had to pull out. So he had a little bit of extra time to train. So I'm looking forward to.
Better use it wisely, right?
Yeah, absolutely. January 25th, St. Pete, Florida. And then listen. I'm planning on 8 fights for the year. You know, if I'm healthy enough and I'm able to do so, then I'm gonna be ready to run.
Perfect. Thank you, QG, so much for coming on.
Yeah.
This is the Fighting Yo. We really appreciated having you on. It was really a pleasure.
Absolutely.
It was our pleasure then having you on
No,
the show.
Thank you so
much.
Listen, y'all.
You're great.
I met you guys at the last BKFC fights,
yes, we did.
and it was nothing but good vibes. And
Thank you.
I'm honored to be here working with you guys, and I think that the sport in itself has grown to the point where a lot of people are paying attention to it. And I've been in this sport for a very long time. To see the amount of attention, like people talk bad about the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Listen, like just appreciate what they did for the sport. Besides it being a whatever
the eyes they brought to the sport. Right?
Yeah. And then the girls fight before that, like come on, like there was a master class.
The fight before that as well, Abel Ramos and
yes,
and
that
was
was
a great fight as well.
That is beautiful. So I'm just grateful to be a part of something that my entire life I knew was as special as what it is, but nobody really looked at it the way that the Netflix really did something to. I got kids signing up to train with me right now because of that fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for that fight.
You should come and sign up. Sign up with Quentin. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and
he's
then
a great trainer. So
and I'm just grateful for it. So shout out to Fighting Yo, and you guys will see me again soon, knocking some folks out. All right. And if you don't follow me, make sure you follow me. My Instagram is Quentin QG Gaskins, and you can see a bunch of cool things. Me and my best friend LA, the BKFC mascot. So shout out to you guys, man.